Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How's everybody doing? Thank you guys once again for tuning in to another pre-market live stream. Beautiful day. Going to be a beautiful day today. And how do I know so? I really don't, but I got a good feeling. Okay? So, in other news, the yield curve inverts more. Not surprising. Basically, that just is, another sign in the market that's possibly signifying the greater looming recession that everyone has been talking about. More so recently. A lot more people are starting to jump on that bandwagon. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with jumping on the bandwagon, okay? I mean, if I seen a wagon of a bunch of beautiful ladies flying by me, I'd probably jump on that bandwagon too, okay? So, in other news, there's a lot more talks of recession. The yield curve is inverted more. And Costco opened up their first store over in China and absolutely crushed it. So, anyways, those are just a couple little things that you guys probably want to know about or hear about. So, good morning. So, we've got a couple things to look at. So, you guys will see here we have LCI, ADSK, and MOMO. There's a couple other stocks I'm going to be keeping a look at today. That didn't make any sense. Looking at today would be the better choice of words there. So, a couple different stocks to look at today. Not really particularly looking at any large caps. I'm not really looking at Netflix or Facebook or NVIDIA. I haven't really been focusing on many of those for the past couple of days. Just haven't really had good momentum there. I haven't really liked trading them recently. This hasn't been there for me. Haven't been doing it. So I've kind of switched up and started looking at a couple earnings plays and some other other options, really, is what's going on. So in other news, we'll get into sharing the screen here in about a half second. Alrighty here. So now we're taking a look at the S&P 500. So we're just doing like a quick little touch here on this. So this is actually a 20-year monthly chart, and this will show you all the kind of the booms and busts, boom, bust, boom, bust, and again, we could take a look at this here. Let me show you this. I'll just point out a couple things, and then we'll get into the stocks in the day. Something to take note on is this, right? Look at the last time, not the last time. I mean, there's a couple times you could really argue here. Didn't work in 08, but even like this kind of correction we had here back in the 2015 time period, you could see there was a slight bullish divergence that kind of happened where the market was trying to move up and the momentum was starting to die out. And we have the same kind of scenario playing out right now, except it's just much bigger and it's probably would be far more aggressive. You can see here, market's been trying to move up, yet momentum still going down. So again, it's very hard for this market to continue moving higher as there's less momentum picking up in the market. The momentum's actually dying out and the market's trying to push higher, usually leads towards a bearish move down. That's this sensor. That's that move right there, okay? Good morning. What up? Yo, yo, yo. How's it going? So anyways, market 20-year chart. Again, don't be surprised if you do see the market start coming down. Now, where are we at? Let's go to the yearly chart. So the yearly chart now, there's nothing about the market right now that actually has any bullish formation at all. It's actually all very bearish formation and sentiment now. So again, don't be surprised if we come down and we test these lows back from, a few months, right? This low here. We kind of bounced right here, so we're moving up, we pull back, we bounce, then we bounce there again. We'll most likely try to bounce here again. So if you want to be a long bias trader, this is even something I mentioned to our private group, is if you're going to be a long bias trader, probably one of your best bets is just to sit on the sidelines for the next couple of weeks until the market moves down towards 272.34. And then you could look for a dip by bounce or just small reversal play for a long. I still probably wouldn't hold there. And then if we break that, then of course anticipate we're going to be heading down towards December lows here at 233, and that's another very possible outcome there. Okay. What is momentum? Momentum is momentum. Like a car's moving forward, that would be forward momentum. If a car was moving backwards, that'd be backwards momentum. I actually don't even know the definition of momentum or how you put it out, but basically moving. So momentum picking up. So in terms of like stocks, when we're talking about momentum, it's the driving factor behind a stock in order to keep it going in any direction or any given direction. Did I say bearish divergence or did I say bullish? I might have said bullish, but it's supposed to be a bearish, excuse me. I read something about that, looking at GameStop for investment. I still don't think it's worth it. I mean, I kind of look back and I'm definitely kicking myself. I said we should be shorting it at 14, and I never actually shorted it. Now it's at 3, but you live and you learn. But anyways, yeah, I don't really see GameStop as a good investment. They're very far behind the industry in terms of where they could be at and where everybody else is at. I mean, again, you can buy all your video games online. Like I don't even play Xbox or PlayStation really, so I don't really know too much there. But from what I do know is you can buy the games right on the PlayStation, right on the Xbox, and you download it to your console, and you're good to go, right? And then you have Google Stadia coming out with video games through computers. So it's like the whole transition that we're seeing, GameStop's so far behind right now, it's not even funny. Yeah, NSP still in a swing. I was actually thinking about closing out NSP, and the reason being is the market in this. So like when I first got long NSP, it was in the dip of this market, right? Now that the market's trying to bounce and it's struggling to break up, I'll probably be closing out NSP, maybe even today. But I bought in, let's see where I bought. I think I bought in like right at 95, so it's probably down a couple points from there. Yeah, I got in long like right about 96, 95.50, right? So I'm not even really underwater on the trade for the most part. I've just been kind of watching it. This is the ultimate break, or that's the ultimate stop loss there is below 88, but you don't have to let it hit your stop. And always understand that a stop loss is basically a stop the loss if shit hits the fan. Right, a stop loss doesn't have to be, this is the point where I'm going to get out because if it goes to here, then I know that I'm wrong on the trade. Right? If you know that you're going to be wrong on the trade before it gets to your stop loss, then why wouldn't you just take it off anyways, right? So I might close it out. And again, it's only a few shares, so it doesn't even really matter to me too much. But yeah, still watching it, still hanging out, and it's primarily sell volume too, it appears. So if the market doesn't have some type of bounce, then NSP is most likely going to be continuing down. Yep, so let's get into it. Let's go take a look at the couple stocks we were focusing on, excuse me. So first one is LCI. That's not LCI. LCI. All right, so let me delete some of these old drawings off that we don't need. All right. Picking up. Yeah, so LCI, definitely going to be a main stock that I'll be watching today. It's low priced. It's not a penny stock, but it is low priced, and it has a short float of 60%. So that tells us that a lot of people, or traders, investors, however you want to say it, they're all short. A lot of them are short bias the stock, which basically means that we could see a nice sized short squeeze today. So definitely going to be watching this one carefully throughout the day, looking for continuation to the upside and continued short squeezing. It's not available to short sale on Thinkorswim. If you have some other broker, you can probably short it. But for me, using TD Ameritrade, can't short it. So everything that I'm going to be doing on the stock is primarily going to be on the lines of long bias trading or looking for long bias moves. And again, with them having a short float of, again, 60%, 59.1 or 0.2 to be exact, it's likely we could see a decent move to the upside. So I think it's worth watching. Right now, we're kind of trading bullish pennant formation. That's what happened. You can see it's kind of pushed up, grinding. So it's kind of breaking out there. Ideally, what you'd want to see this do, we broke out. You'd actually kind of want to see this come down and retest some of these high levels or breakout levels to see if it can sustain. But nonetheless, still going to be watching it long. If you go to your daily chart, you're going to see that we're actually at a previous resistance spot, right, at this previous spike. So that's the only thing that kind of keeps me on like the fence of really wanting to trade it, is the fact that we spiked right up into resistance, and this thing is known to sell off pretty hard. So going to be watching it closely, but there's no guarantee I'm going to trade it, especially knowing that we're right up towards a previous top. That's generally a no-no, or don't try and trade that. Or if you're going to trade it, being that close to a top, you usually just want to go for a quick in and out scalp trade. Don't really look for a continuation trending move on the day. So again, watching LCI for longs, but we are right at a resistance point that you have to be careful of, okay? Random facts. I think you asked this to me the other day or before. When it comes, so for example, Facebook's a good stock, Amazon's a good stock, Netflix is a good stock, Baba's a good stock, AMD's a good stock, Tesla's a good stock. Those are all good stocks, and you don't even need a scanner for them. So again, it all comes down to what are you trying, or what are you looking for? Are you looking for stocks that have already spiked? Are you trying to find stocks that haven't spiked? If you're trying to scan for penny stocks before they spike, you're never going to build a scanner that can find that. So don't even try. Okay, if you're looking for stocks that have already gone up on the day and looking for continuation moves, you can actually scan for that. If you're looking for stocks that have gone parabolic to the upside and now you're looking for a short trade, you can scan for that. But you can't scan for something that hasn't happened. So that's a problem I see a lot of traders get themselves involved with, is they run around in this circle trying to build this magical scanner that's going to tell them that the stock is going to move before it moves. But it's not possible, because you cannot scan for something that hasn't happened or isn't happening, okay? So again, what it comes down to is figure out what it is you're trying to scan for. You're saying, can I scan for good stocks? Well, Netflix, Facebook, those are all good stocks. AMD, that's a good stock. Every single stock that has earnings can be a good stock, right? So again, it's not even a good stock, it's a good play. Are you looking for stocks to hold long term? If you're looking for stocks to hold long term, look at something like 3M, look at Costco, look at McDonald's, look at Exxon, look at, I don't know, some big blue chip names. Those are good stocks. Or you're talking about stocks that can have good moves, because good stocks are far different than good moves. Because a shitty stock can have a good move and still not be a good stock. So again, there's so many configurations you can make. You have to pinpoint what it is that you're actually trying to scan for, because good stocks is just too broad. Alrighty, continuing on. We'll move over into ADSK here in just a second. Paul, I honestly don't think there's going to be live television in the next 20. I think everything will be done online through streaming services, to be honest. Why are you ignoring LCI float? No, pardon me. Why am I not ignoring LCI? We just literally looked at LCI. And then Dustin, Guy Gentle owns a large portion of LCI float. Yes, Guy Gentle does own a large portion of LCI float. You're absolutely right about that. Good for you for knowing that information. Me telling that to anybody wouldn't really make a big difference anyways, because a lot of people probably don't. Not everybody's going to know who Guy Gentile is, and the fact that he owns a lot of the float isn't really going to make a dramatic difference on how somebody particularly performs on a particular stock. It could make a little bit of a difference, but again, giving that information isn't really going to do too much at the end of the day. David, we kind of went over the SPY. SPY is still pretty bearish. Gabriel, yes, silver is still going up. Gold still going up. Whoa. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate that, brother. Precision day trading. Yeah, I think they run a penny stock scanner throughout the day. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've taken a peek at it. I don't really use it. I already have scanners to find stocks, so it's not something I particularly need to use myself. But you could probably find good value in that, like for your guys itself, right? For a free scanner that they put online. Absolutely. All right, so now let's move into ADSK. ADSK was an earnings trade from yesterday after hours. Anyways, big gap down. Simple, we always talk about these, pretty straightforward. To the gentleman asking about the FinViz scanner, if you're still on watching, this is a perfect example. This is a good stock to potentially trade, and you don't need a scanner to find it. Okay, so you could look up every single stock that's going to be reporting earnings today, tomorrow, next day, because the companies, again, as a publicly traded company, they have to inform investors basically about every single move that they make because they are a publicly traded company. And without doing so, then again, they can get in trouble through the SEC, have to pay big fines, et cetera, et cetera. So all publicly traded companies have to make information available to the public since they're a publicly traded company, which means that they're going to have to release when it is they plan to do their earnings report or their earnings release, which means you will know exactly when every single company is going to report earnings, which means you'll know exactly when every single company can have a big move, and then you'll know exactly when every single company can have a big trading day after their earnings report and a couple days after without having to use a scanner. So ADSK, good move down, good gap down, pretty straightforward here. It's at about 131, which isn't really any pinpoint bottomed support. There's really support here on ADSK around the 120s. It's really just a bunch of interaction, choppy consolidation points at the 130 level. So initially, I'm probably just going to follow this short bias unless it kind of starts breaking up over, some of these levels right here at about 134. So unless it starts to kind of grind up over 134, I'd probably first be looking short bias. The other thing to mention is there is a slight bullish divergence that could play into a long, which is this play moving, kind of trending down a bit. You could see it was moving down there, and then we kind of gapped down. So it's a weird trend down, but the whole time, since its low point, the momentum's been trending up. So there is a bullish divergence in effect. Whether or not it plays out, something to pay attention to. Whoa. Oh, yeah, I didn't put Costco on the watch, but we did mention this, that Costco, this is probably something good to watch for continuation to the upside. Again, they had that news about their store opening in China, blew the doors out. They had to shut the doors on customers coming in because there were so many customers coming into Costco, they just couldn't keep up with the demand. So they actually had to shut the doors. So anyways, really good launch for Costco for the first store out in China. And you can see we had this nice move. You could follow this. I would probably follow this for continuation. But do note that tomorrow Costco is going to be paying its dividends, which also means the likelihood that Costco's share price drops after the dividend payout is pretty high. So if you get in long today and it works well, and then you maybe want to turn it into a swing trade, do be cautious, or do note that a lot of times stocks share price will drop after the dividend payout, and again, that's just something to pay attention to, right? So if you're going to open up a trade today and then you try to swing trade it, just know that the share price might be down tomorrow because of the dividend payout. Is a Thinkorswim scanner enough? I will mention this. If you're trying to day trade penny stocks in terms of like quick momentumous moves that kind of happen out of nowhere, then the Thinkorswim scanner won't do it for you. You can find stocks with Thinkorswim's scanner, and I actually have some new scanners that I'll be making videos on for Thinkorswim that I haven't had before. And they're built from, one of my trading friends. So we kind of collaborated. And so we have a couple new scanners we're going to put up on YouTube here soon for Thinkorswim. But nonetheless, when it comes to Thinkorswim is not a good software for scanning stocks extremely fast because the scanners don't update themselves. You have to constantly hit scan so that it refreshes the scan. So unless you're sitting there just clicking scan, the scanner won't update or it won't refresh, which basically means if a stock starts to run right in some random period in time in the middle of the day, you'll never know it was running based on your Thinkorswim scanner because you'd have to keep there and keep going scan. So again, not really your best option for scanning. Honestly, your best option for scanners is probably going to be Trade Ideas. There's an affiliate link in the description below. If you go through it, yes, I will get paid some money for you purchasing their product, but it is probably the best scanner that I would recommend if you're looking at trading penny stocks, because you can build scanners that will catch penny stocks pre-market, midday, and so that's really what I use it for, is like a high-a-day scanning type situation. Yeah. Whoa. Just looking at the chat here. Give me a second. Thanks, Super Snake. Appreciate it. Unfortunate. Phil, I apologize, but had to move you, bud. Can't have comments like that going on. It's 2019. Everybody is welcome in my chat. All ethnicities can invest. There's actually, fun fact, there's only one race. It's called the human race. And if anybody thinks otherwise, you need to look into the history and do some research, because everything else you hear is actually false. How can I watch you trade live for question? There's going to be a link. I think it's the first link in the description that takes you to our website. From there, you can sign up and then join into our private group, and then you'll be able to join us live throughout the day. And we have a couple mentors that you can work with as well. BYND does have good news with the KFC thing and the vegan thing, but BYND, again, price target for me is still at about $100. Would you recommend Trade? Yes and no. I mean, Trade Ideas is a great scanning tool, but for a beginner, for beginners, really, trading penny stocks is just, it's so extremely hard to begin with. So it's like, it's kind of a catch-22. I always recommend beginners start off trading large cap stocks, where you're not going to really make a lot of money. You're not going to lose a lot of money, but it's going to get your feet wet, teach you how to kind of, learn the charting without, putting a ton of money at risk. And you could paper trade and things like that, but, again, the real thing, there's no learning like doing the real thing. What does the white color mean on the time and sales tape? Usually they're red or green, but white. That's a good question. I can't remember. I know that the white in the level 2 means that there has been no change in price, but I'm not sure. What does the white mean? I can't remember. I have to look that up. Maybe somebody else knows. Page only, honestly, news is only influential pretty much the same day or 2 days later. Anything more than a couple days, news is old. It's news, right? It's news. Think about it. We had this crazy rapist, orgy fanatic dude, billionaire named Jeffrey Epstein, in which we all know he didn't really commit suicide. He was actually assassinated through planned assassination that was probably orchestrated by people who are high up in the United States government. Okay, maybe not, but probably. Okay, let's just be honest, right? That's big. Somehow this prison, they lost their camera footage. The dude was on suicide watch because he tried to commit suicide. And then a week later, they think that he's cured and he's no longer going to try to commit suicide because he's in the same environment and same headspace as he was the week before when he tried to commit suicide. So again, apparently the person who writ him off, the doctor, is just an absolute idiot and needs the license revoked because clearly she just killed a patient, or he or she just killed a patient. It all just adds up to this crazy news story, and somehow it's no longer a news story. Are you kidding me? An Amazon fire, and now Jeffrey Epstein's no longer in port. Again, God, that's the example of news. You could have a scenario where a billionaire rapes children, goes to prison, gets assassinated. It's a hot news piece for a week, and then it's gone. So think about that, and then think about a news piece like Costco opens up its first store in China, record sales. That's not going to last very long. If a billionaire rapist that gets assassinated can't last more than a week and a half in the news, right? So All right, we got to go over one more stock on my list, and then I will... we got to go over MOMO. So MOMO wasn't like a particular stock that I was really crazy about. And I wasn't even planning on trading it today or watching it. But for some reason, I ended up going and looking back at it because I ended up trading it yesterday. I traded, it was my first trade in the day, basically first 1 minute, maybe it was second can. It doesn't really matter. It was basically right in the beginning of the day. Let's see. What did I just do? Why did it? Oh, I see what I did. There we go. So that was my first trade yesterday on MOMO. It was a 2,500 share order at 34.39, and then sold a 2,500 shares at 34.68. So a pretty decent win. But anyways, as you can see, it ends up coming down and grinds down all day. So on the earnings report, it kind of grinds down all day. So today I was kind of thinking, well, if it pushes up on earnings and then it fades out all day on pretty decent selling volume, I'll probably track this for a short today. Watch it for a fading short. So that was the last one. Just watching this for like a breakdown short move today. So again, right? Just so you guys know, too, I'm going to be 26 years old, and I have now had over 35, maybe 40 friends commit suicide. It's just a really trending thing. A lot of average, just the average person usually has at least 35 close friends that commit suicide, over their lifetime. It's just a logical thing. You have no, you know what I'm saying? Again, if you don't understand the sarcasm and the joke there, then you got to read up on the Clintons hit list. Yeah, that was all a joke, guys. Apologize. But that was more like the Jeffrey Epstein thing. But anyways, that just goes to show if something like that can't last in the news very long, then your stock news is only going to last about a day, 2 days. I live in Michigan, and still holding NSP. Yep, still holding NSP. So Adrian Miller, that's a good question, and there's a lot that goes into it, and there's really no quick answer, unfortunately. But what I can tell you is that when it comes to trading, you really don't want to leave stops to. Well, here's the thing: is when it comes to trading, everyone's like, "Oh, put a stop loss in or put a tight stop." Well, when you put a stop loss in, that tells the market maker where your order is. Now, this is the part that everybody gets confused. Everybody goes, oh, well, the market maker's just trying to take my order. No, the market maker's not trying to take your order. The market maker's doing his job. You said you wanted to sell shares at this price, so the market maker gave you a sell order. He did what you asked. That's all that happened. So did he steal your order? Or did you invite him to come take your order? You told him, hey, here's my order. I want you to fill it. Because again, the market maker's main job, other than making trades and making money, his main job is to provide liquidity for the market, which means provide orders, buys and sells, and fill people's orders. So if you put an order out very close to the price of the stock where it's trading, then yeah, he's going to do his best to try and fill your order because that's what you're asking of him. It's possible. I could care less if he does or doesn't. Anyways. Yeah, I was working with the Tech Buds team a while back now. But yeah, I mean, long story short, Ricky's a good guy, but he was just trying to protect himself. He basically wanted me to sign contracts and a bunch of other things that basically would have been me shooting myself in the foot or me committing suicide like Jeffrey Epstein. So I didn't do that. With that being said, guys, I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you can, give the video a thumbs up before you head out the door, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning for another stream. And other than that, have a good day. Don't blow your accounts, and I'll see you tomorrow.